This is Support is Sexy, episode 94, with Cathy E.Smith, founder of C-Squared Internet Marketing Strategies. Welcome to the Support is Sexy podcast. I'm your host, Elayne Fluker, entrepreneur, author, producer, and founder of Chic Rebellion Media. 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, I talk to women entrepreneurs who share their journeys and the true stories of their wins and their lessons, and give you insight and inspiration to take your business and your life to the next level. Here we go. Hi, everyone. Welcome to a new episode of Support is Sexy. I'm excited to have you here because you know it just would not be the same without you. So today we are welcoming Miss Cathy E.Smith. And Cathy, as I mentioned, is the founder of C2 Internet Marketing Strategies. And her company helps entrepreneurs discover the best ways to utilize social media to increase brand awareness. Now, whether you like it or not, and I know I talk about social media a lot, give it a hard time, whether you like it or not, it has to be a part of your business strategy. So Cathy helps her clients figure out the right tools, the right platform, and the right strategies for how to best use social media. So on this episode, she talks about that, but also about her personal journey to becoming an entrepreneur and why you should consider ways that you can have both and rather than either or when it comes to your full-time job in entrepreneurship. She also talks about what I'm calling the trouble with leaps of faith. Cathy talks about why you need an exit strategy before you quit your job. Also, how to think of your job as an investor in your business. How to know if you're using social media properly. The top 3 strategies for maximizing your brand awareness online. How to pick the best social media platform and how to make it easy for people to find you. And why some of the folks who started with you on your journey may not be able to continue with you. In other words, as I said in a recent episode, everybody can't come. So I know you're going to enjoy this episode with Cathy, full of great information. And listen, do go to supportissexypodcast.com, search Cathy. You will find her episode, her show notes page, all of her information, how to contact her. But we also have a long list of fantastic resources that Cathy mentions in this episode. So many there. Honestly, I was taking copious notes during our interview and included all of those links within the show notes. So you want to go to supportissexypodcast.com, look that up. Any of the resources mentioned, you can find them there. Any that are missing, you let me know and I'll find it for you and send it to you. But great information, great resources for social media, branding, strategy, all that good stuff. So again, I know you're going to love this episode. Without further ado, Cathy E. Smith. So, Cathy, thank you so much for joining us for an episode of Support is Sexy. I'm excited to have you here.
Thank you, Elayne. I'm excited to be here.
Excellent. So now the first question, when did you first fall in love with entrepreneurship?
Probably since maybe I was like 10 years old or so. But really solidly, probably like 2003 or 4. 2003 and 4, because my family, I come from a family of entrepreneurs. My dad sold cars for 30 years. He owned a pizza shop. He had a cleaning business, a furniture store. My aunt owned a hair salon for 40 years. My uncle is 80 and until like a year ago still did home improvement.
Wow.
So it's in the genes.
It's in the genes. Now, what was a young Cathy like as a little girl?
My parents were in Amway when I was young, and they still are. So you can be always inspirational. If you can believe it, you can achieve it. Motivational tapes. So I guess in a way that was already ingrained in me from an early age. So I've always worked 2 jobs as an adult until about 2 years ago. I mean, even though my income is, have been insignificant, I'll say, for a number of years, for about 10 years. I've always worked 2 jobs until about 2 years ago.
Now, what was it 2 years ago that made you say, okay, it's time to stop? Was that shift of focus on your business?
Yes, it was a shift of focus, and I'm just a determination to better manage my resources. You know what I mean?
And resources being your time and energy, I would imagine.
Time and energy, and also um, my money. I think that adage is true. The more you make, the more you spend.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, you need to, better align and use the resources that you have, because otherwise then you'll continually be in this cycle of working, a part-time job.
And how did that adjustment go for you? Because are you focused just on your business now, or you still do other work as well?
No, I still do other work as well. I'm planning my exit strategy.
Mm-hmm.
I actually have, a lot of people don't know this unless they know me personally, but I actually been in the government. January will be 29 years.
Wow.
So, at year 25, I was, telling my mom, oh, I want to, go out and be an entrepreneur and blah, blah, blah. And my mom was like, you should make sure that you are able to leave with your benefits, because that's too much time invested. And now she doesn't remember that conversation, but
smart advice though, because you were so close to a retirement age, right? Or not retirement age, retirement as far as time in.
Yes, as far as time in. And I took a mid-career retirement course, and like once you have 30 years, there a lot more things are available and open to you, as far as if there's a buyout, you actually taking your health benefits. And most of the people that I'm surrounded by that are full-time entrepreneurs, and that is one of the biggest things. I mean, I know, even though I've had minor health issues over the last 3 years. And so that is important to me, to be able to walk away with my health benefits.
So smart. And I think thank you for sharing that, especially because you said a lot of people don't know it. But I think it's smart too, just to think for people to consider that. With one, you can work and have your business and figure out a way to do a both and, as I say, instead of an either or. But also
Yes.
in thinking of the ways that your job, this work that you've put all this time into, energy, etc., can serve you in other ways, whether it's taking an early retirement or looking at how you can maintain your benefits or those kind of things, instead of just throwing it all away to do this other thing.
Yes. And I also think that I've just seen it so much, is that people don't plan an exit strategy.
Right.
Now, as a Christian, people are always like, oh, I took a leap of faith. No, I think that God gives you wisdom, and that you should plan for an exit strategy. If you're not even making the revenue to replace your current income, don't take that leap.
Mm-hmm.
Don't take that leap. I mean, yeah, some people are successful at it, and they do make a success of it, but you should have some type of exit strategy in place before you take that leap. Now, some people are pushed into entrepreneurship based on they got laid off, or, I mean, that is unavoidable. But if you if you can, and you actively map out a plan to build your business so that you can leave, if you're, just think of your job as an investor, in your business, and definitely map out your exit strategy.
Right. I've heard that before. I love that idea. Instead of thinking, I think Lisa Nichols, the author Lisa Nichols, has said that
Yes.
think of your job as an investor. And it's like, oh, that makes total sense. It's a total, mindset change of, oh yeah, it's not this thing that's taking me away from my business. It's this thing that's investing in my business.
Absolutely, until you get possession, and that is exactly who I got it from.
Lisa Nichols.
Lisa Nichols, yes,
Love her.
So, and then I think too, if you look at it as an investor in your business, even if you're not happy in what you're doing, that that makes it a little bit more bearable,
Yeah,
you know,
I agree.
and planning early retirement is not just about replacing the income, but there's several business expenses that are deducted on a monthly basis. Do you have that do you have that capability to sustain that? Like your hosting or, um, we were talking about, offline, we were talking about your podcasting service or, just a variety of things that you need to keep your business functioning, and you need to consider those things. So that is one of the things that I'm considering is like much business expense do I need to sustain, not only my household, but if I were to leave tomorrow, would I be able to still, pay for my domain service, my show hosting,
All the other things that you have to consider, the little things that come up that are huge things for your business, but it's just it adds up.
it really does. It really does.
So,
So,
how did you come to the point where you decided to start your business and focusing right now, focusing on social media? But I know you're thinking about making a shift in that space. And tell everyone the name of your company and what you currently do.
okay, so my name, well, it's Cathy E.Smith, and the name of my company is C Squared Internet Marketing Strategies. And I help business owners get in the right place, in the right platform, with the right tools and resources. And that was a recent shift. And I started out thinking, oh, I'm going to be this social media person, and I'll start posting for people. But I don't post as consistently for myself, but I enjoy optimizing people's profiles to attract the right audience. And I think that's my thing. So, the sole focus is not to just teach social media, but also have a teach people about their overall online presence. Like, for example, taking a look at their website. Do they have a lead capture? Do is it speaking to the right audience? Does their page look too busy? Now, I don't do the back end stuff of like building your page, but I do share like what you need to have on your page in order for it to be attract the right audience.
How has that been with working with your clients? Have you found that it's been, as far as the shift, I mean, from focusing on social media to being more, I guess, comprehensive in what you offer, even though it's still a specialty, but you're expanding a little bit instead of just from social media?
I found that it's been a very positive experience. Case in point, I have a client, and that's just when right when I decided I would not do posting for people. I would tell them tools and resources so how they can automate their posting. Although organic posting, meaning you post yourself, is always better than scheduling posts. Most people schedule it for consistency so they can reach their audience. But I've even looked at different people that I follow. If it's not a natural post, the engagement tends to be much lower.
So, meaning, so how can people, well, I guess you can tell if it's just sort of copy written for a promo as opposed to someone's first person voice or something like that.
Well, no, most of the time, whether you have Hootsuite or whatever, or whether you use Post Planner, it doesn't matter if you pay for the pro version. It says, that what tool you used. It says post it with Hootsuite, or it says Post Planner or whatever. I don't think that people that are not into social media necessarily pay attention
Notice that.
notice that, but Google and search engines notice that. So I don't know. I believe that has a lot to do with you being seen. I think it has a lot to do with being seen in the feed. even on Facebook and other places versus you posting it yourself. Now, a lot of times people don't really realize, but you can only do it from your business page, is that Facebook has a scheduler where you can pre-schedule your post, but it I imagine that it shows naturally because it's from your page and it doesn't say, posted by Facebook, but a lot of people don't actually utilize the one that is built into Facebook, but is only available on your like business page or
Right. I've done both, but I think most people probably use these other resources, like you mentioned, Hootsuite, just because you can do multiples at one time. On one side, it's great for efficiency, but then to your point, which I didn't know, people can either tell that you've posted through that way, or more importantly, to me, this idea that Google and those things read them differently because might read them differently because they're not directly from you. That's very interesting. I didn't know that.
yes.
Very interesting. Now, how do we know overall, would you say, based on your experience, if we're doing social media, quote unquote, right?
You definitely should measure your engagement. So, um, if you have a Facebook business page, you definitely should look at your what's called insight stats. It will tell you where in the world people are finding your posts. Um, it will tell you the age range, and it will tell you whether it's male or female. And I think that's very important. But that's just Facebook. Um, Twitter, you can subscribe to Community, which is a free tool, or you can sign up for Twitter ads. And this is, not to take revenue away from Twitter, but if you sign up for Twitter ads, then you can, even if you don't post an ad, it adds like a little bar to your profile, like where you normally would post. It adds a little bar. If you click on that bar, it will tell you the level of engagement that your Twitter post received, or how many impressions, or how many people viewed that. So even if you don't do a Twitter ad, you can kind of measure like what is being seen the most or what resonates with people. That's on Twitter. And on Facebook, you can view your insights, and insights will tell you what was your most engaged post. Um, you know,
Yes.
and and even on pages that you follow on your business page, they will show you what engagement that they got to the top 5.
Mm-hmm. Now, you on your website, I noticed you have your book, 5 Key Strategies for Maximizing Your Brand Awareness Online.
Yes.
What would you say are say there's 3 categories, or 3, excuse me, strategies overall that we should be aware of when we're talking about maximizing our brand, whether that's social media or otherwise?
One is be on the right platform.
How do you know the right platform?
Right platform, that's a good question. There are typical characteristics of each platform, and I've been talking about it, but I'm really going to put that out as a free giveaway instead of the brand awareness. So, okay, let me go over a couple of platforms. Snapchat is mostly for millennials, although companies are tending to use it a lot more, and especially for events, because you can create what's geo filters that are using the logo of your particular type of event, and people can take pictures. And if they use Snapchat, that geo filter will show up in their Snapchat feed.
Mm.
If they swipe like 3 times to the to the left, then whatever geo filter is in that area will show up. So Snapchat is more for millennials. So with Pinterest, it's 81% women, and the target areas are beauty, um, including hair, decorating, fashion, travel actually, and a lot of health. So if your focus is on health, there's a lot of recipes, exercises, and a lot of how-to on there. And it's even really good for social media and online marketing because the majority of my boards are, how to attract an audience with a post or your blog. Or so I have quite a few boards, and people follow like online marketing or online courses or social media. So there's different characteristics of each platform. Believe it or not, on Facebook, the majority, like the 30% are ages, the highest range is like 25 to 34 on Facebook. So if that's your target audience, and then I think the
I
next,
thought Facebook was much older.
well, but that's not the highest range. And then I was going to say the next highest range starts at like 50
Okay.
and plus. So if that's your audience, then you might want to take a look at that. And then Twitter is more so if you share tips or you're giving information or you're sharing breaking news or trends or like headlines in the news. If you want to tap into that and do what's called news jacking, like look up whatever the hot hashtags are and see if that applies. Is there any way that you can make a post using that hashtag that would attract people to view your brand?
Now, how important do you think overall? You kind of, I know you gave us the platforms. I got you off track with talking about the strategies, but I think this is good because you kind of gave a strategy for each platform. But how important do you think it is to focus on social media? I guess would it be different depending on what your brand is and how you want to engage people, or should it be something that every business owner focuses on? Because I know for a lot of solopreneurs, it just feels like another thing to have to do.
Everybody should have a presence. If you're in business, everybody should have a social media presence. And I think that for me, that's why I focus more so on strategic social media because it can be overwhelming. And
Mm-hmm.
especially if you are the only person. Um, and even though posting, using Hootsuite and the Buffer app, and I use a tool called Sociocaster. Even using, if that is your only way to stay connected and be consistent, by all means use that. But whenever you can, use an organic post or a post where you just take your device or your laptop and because it will do dividends. And also too, if you Google yourself or your company, your social media platforms will show up on Google. And so the more of a presence that you have, then I always say digital marketing or social media or just online marketing in general, because online marketing I believe encompasses everything, is like leaving your footprint online. It's always going to be there afterwards. So that's why it's very important for you to A, have a presence, and B, make sure that that's really in alignment with your reputation, because once it's out there, it's out there. I know people, make a comment on Twitter and then they shut down their account, but just think, if it's controversial, how many people did see it before it was deleted?
Right. And now people, at least for in the case of celebrities, sometimes people screenshot things before they even get to take it down. I don't know why people think to do that, but so that, as you said, it's still out there. And then sometimes people have proof of it, even if you've deleted it or deleted your account.
Right. So just think of it as leaving your digital footprint, and you want to make sure that it counts, and you want to make sure that it is representative of your brand. And just think of it this way, is that think of it from your own personal perspective as a customer. Like when I travel, I don't go anywhere or stay anywhere unless I check it out on TripAdvisor. And that's the only way people can really find out information. So if you don't have an online presence or some way for somebody to connect with your brand, then you're behind.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess that's the best way I can describe it.
One thing that I saw that you posted recently for your Facebook Live video, where you shared an important lesson you learned about image. Since we were speaking about that, it was
Yes.
the red cup. I was going to say red cup diary, but
Yes.
can you share that lesson with our audience and how important it is for you and for all of us to take feedback, let's say constructive criticism, I guess, from our audiences and make adjustments if we think necessary.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, I have been challenged by my business coach to uh, live stream more and do it consistently. And so, I started what's called social marketing sips. And social marketing sips is designed to share online marketing. And I call it social marketing, not social media, because social marketing encompasses so much more, but it's about creating an engaging presence online. So I went to Walmart and I got an insulated plastic cup.
Mm-hmm.
And the insulated plastic cup is about 32 ounces. And I put water in there. I don't like water, but I am trying to be healthier and drink water. So before I did my live streaming, this particular night, I was on Periscope and Facebook Live at the same time. But the red cup, 32-ounce cup, was showing on Facebook Live. Totally did not think, red cup is symbolic with Kevin Hart has his friends that he grew up with, and they work for him, and some of them are comedians too, and they call them the Red Cup Boys. But Red Cup is synonymous with alcohol, like people put alcohol in red cups. And so I had the red cup on it, totally did not wasn't thinking alcohol because I don't drink. And so I'm doing the live, and a woman gets on and she said, "That is a big red cup." Totally didn't, still didn't think about it. Well, when I saw that, I was like, I said, "Just so you know, it's water in this cup." But if someone is watching it, the red cup shows up before you even, you can see it before you even press to watch the video or the broadcast. So one of my friends was the first one to razz me about that. And he said, he put in the comments, because even in Facebook Live, you can go back, and if someone's watching it, they can insert their comments. And Facebook Live distinguishes between somebody watching it live in their comments and somebody watching the replay. So on the replay, he said, "What's in that cup, Cathy E.Smith?" And so I said, "LOL. LOL is just water." And so we got in a little banter, and he goes, "No judgment," and hashtag about that red cup life. And I was like, okay, clearly not the image I want for my target audience, because I do want to move into working with corporations as far as social marketing and marketing with their brands, and going to speak and to train. And I am changing my focus of my target audience. And so my target audience is not the red cup audience that sits around shooting and drinking. So when the banter exchange with him, I said, clearly not the image that I want. I said, now I think of Kevin Hart and the Red Cup Boys. And I said, and I'm sure, and I used incorrect English, I said, "I'm sure it ain't water in their cup." And so he was just laughing. So then my coach gets on there and he asks, "What's in the cup?"
Okay, so the cup became a distraction for everybody.
Yeah. And then, if you don't know me, if you're just watching and you happen to cross it, or somebody shares that, um what your image is, maybe like, oh, maybe she drinks. And maybe like that's, not that you would take it to being a flask, but I also am a social media ambassador for my church's ministry,
Oh, right.
in the social media ministry. So I'm in with this big red cup. And if that's someone's impression and a couple of people's impression, and that's impression if people know me, can you imagine what that would say to an audience I'm trying to attract? So long story short, um, I am moving to a new radio station, and um, the owner sent me a text message, and he was like, "What is up with that cup?" So I was like, "Okay, I got it. No more red cup." I was and in my banter back and forth, I put hashtag just H2O, hashtag no more red cup. But it's really important that with everything that you put online, that you really think about the image and what you want it to say about your brand.
Right. Thank you for sharing that story. When I saw it, I was like, "Oh, this is great." I was sorry for you that you went through that, but then it was a funny lesson, but a good one. And as you said, it's just being aware that people are going to hone in on one thing, or in something so simple as a cup, but what it symbolizes for other people, they
Ex-
project it on you. So thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome. Needless to say, the next time I did one, I used a china teacup.
Right. Or no cup at all. You have to hide everything. I'm like that when I do interviews and things. Not that anyone would say anything, but you look around like, what's in the background here? Just so I make sure nothing looks too crazy.
Well, I'm glad that you said that because the cup really is going to be a symbol of me doing social media sips.
Hmm. Okay, so you have to have some kind of
Some kind of cup,
something. So a
something
teacup
to,
is lovely.
yes. And but it just will not be a big red cup.
Right.
And actually, I am considering a dry erase mug so that I can put the message or the topic on the mug so that when I live stream, you'll know exactly what the topic I'm going to discuss.
Interesting. I didn't know they had dry erase mugs.
Yes, they
Very
do.
nice. All right. That's a good tip. So now a quote that I saw that you posted, it said, she was unstoppable not because she did not have failures or doubts, but because she continued on despite them. It was a beautiful quote. I can't remember who it's by, but I saw that you posted that. What's a recent doubt or failure that you've had to overcome either recently or in the past?
Uh, I think for me um is really I've seen so many people portray images that I know that they are not. And I know people always talk about being authentic online, but that is so, so important to me. And, I don't go around talking about I make six figures. The people who do or they don't just go talk about it. And so I've seen people proclaim that they make six figures and they really don't. So to me is it's like a fear of putting myself out there. I think that's why I've hesitated in doing live streaming. I don't want to say, oh, I'm being authentic. I'm being authentic, but I that is really just important to me that um I represent my brand well and that, you know, starting out on Periscope and live stream, there are a lot of trolls. I don't see them as much, and trolls are just people who have negative comments or say something negative. It's like moving past that and just keep on giving, or so that you can build your know, like, and trust factor.
Nice. I like that. And I think, as you said, it's important to focus on one, why you're doing it, but then also focus on the giving. That's why you're there and why you're creating this outside of, whatever anybody else has to say about it.
Absolutely. And it's important too to get to a place where you have a thick skin. And I know people always talk about that, but even as you grow in your business, some of the same friends that started with you may not end
And
with
with
you,
you, yes.
and being okay with that, because for whatever reason you have to realize it's their issue, or maybe they were just in your life for a season, but you have to be okay with that and be able to push forward and move on.
So true. I just did an episode like that I think it was this week. They're all blending together. But I just did an episode like that recently called Everybody Can't Come. That same
Absolutely.
exact thing. When you make a move, every might love them all, but everybody can't come. Not in every phase of certainly if you're trying to do a business or something, create something new for yourself, everybody's not going to get it. So everybody can't come.
Yes. And
Mm.
on my Instagram, I think well, I made a quote like, everybody can't see the vision, so stop trying to drag them along.
Mm.
Or I need to really find it, but basically it spoke to, God gave you your vision
Right.
and you can't make other people see. You know what I mean?
Right. He gave it to you, or she gave it to you
Yes.
for a reason.
Yes.
Exactly. Now, what would you say entrepreneurship has taught you about yourself as a woman?
I think the importance of integrity. I think that organization, because I am not the most organized person, but I understand that if you are going to be successful, you have to have some type of order and organization, or you can't move forward. It will suffocate you.
Mm-hmm. Now, what does your support network look like?
I actually have a mastermind, and I pretty much talk to the mastermind. Well, we just chat, say good morning, hello every day, but that is the closest network I would say, and it's made up of an attorney slash CPA, now turned financial expert. She shut down her practice, and a another friend that has a mobile marketing um, business. She has text marketing services and creates custom mobile apps, and that is her business. And then I have another friend, and that's part of the mastermind, and she is a sponsorship strategist and helping people not only fund an event but fund their business. And she had government contracts before and served as a financial government contractor, and she's about to uh, take that leap again.
Is
As
this
far as
Kiana?
yes.
Oh, fantastic. Kiana Murray, everyone. I just spoke to her. I was going to tell you this after we record, but I just spoke to her the other day. She's fantastic. So thank you so much for connecting us.
Yes, yes, she's phenomenal. And so since you put it out there, I'm going to put their names out there.
Yes, tell people.
Okay,
I'll probably
so
interview all of them anyway.
okay. So the CPA attorney, now financial expert, is Sonia Smith Valentine, and her company is Financially Fierce, and she's been quoted in Black Enterprise on NBC. So she's just amazing, and she gives great legal advice.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been her client. So, and then Janine Biggins, she goes by Gigi, and her company is getabusinessmobileapp.com. And she has some great clients. And yeah, so I chat with them pretty much on a daily basis in one form or another, even if it's just, we have an instant chat. But there's so many others. The majority of my friends are entrepreneurs.
Mm-hmm. So thank you for giving their names. I'm going to link to their websites too. So for everybody listening, you can go to the show notes page for Cathy and see the links to all these fabulous women. And I want to say publicly too to you, Cathy, thank you for connecting me to people like Kiana and all of the other wonderful women who I have in the queue to interview. Thanks to you reaching out and saying, here's a list of people that you should talk to.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah, I appreciate that. That's just who you are. So I really, really appreciate that. That's wonderful. And I'm glad to get a chance to talk to you.
Thank you. And I think, I appreciate the opportunity. And I do want to give a shout out to Podcasters Paradise, because we probably would not have connected it if it wasn't for that type of community.
Right. And I have talked to so many great people through there and interviewed a couple of women from that group too. So you're right. That's definitely, we'll link to that, to Podcasters Paradise, John Lee Dumas. Thanks, John. And Kate. So in closing, I have to ask you, if you think over your life and career and had the chance to thank only one person whose support was critical to you personally or professionally, who would that be and what would you say?
Wow. I probably would say my dad, just because the entrepreneur spirit, I truly believe I got it from him. And he's always been adventurous and encouraging. So since we can only say one, I probably would say my dad, but I actually have three. But but I would definitely say my dad.
Who are the other two?
My mom. My mom is just incredible, and just makes you think, like when you run stuff past her, not necessarily even to just, that you're asking for advice, but she does it in a way that is non-threatening, like, like, I didn't ask you for it. I mean, it's not that type of thing. Mm-hmm. She's like, oh, I didn't really think about it that way. And then my husband, because my husband is not, did not come from entrepreneurs, and he is always supportive and very patient with me, as far as I'm like a tool hoarder, and I'm always, jumping from one thing to the next. In the realm of online marketing, not necessarily different businesses, but he's always very supportive of what I do, and he really believes in, the dream that I will be a internet marketing millionaire and, represent women.
I love that. That's a good trifecta. Those three. That was worth hearing. Those three.
Okay.
That was good. Yeah. Now tell us how we can support you. I'll have links to the website and all the great tools that you gave. Thank you. I may follow up with you to make sure I got the names proper so we can list them all. But how can people support you, social media, et cetera, anything you want us to look out for from you?
Okay. So my website is www.cathyesmith.com. And since I just left the radio station, I am going to have all my shows on theprimeshow.com. And it's a little rough right now, but you can download episode. The last two episodes, well, only one is up, but I will have before the end of the day. And
on social media?
I am Cathy E. Smith, Cathy with the C, E. Smith, on all platforms. And so I think that's so important. And can I just say one thing? Because I did say this on one of my live streams. If you are, if you have an online presence, please make sure that you are the same on all platforms. I know people like to give a different name on Instagram, but if you're if it is, you make it so much harder for people to find you if you're different names on different platforms. So one of the ways that you can check that is by going to NameCheckcom, and that's NameCheckcom, and it will tell you if a domain is available, if Tumblr, it has like probably about 50 platforms that you can check and see if your branded name is available.
That is such a great tip. I am at Elayne Fluker on everything, but I think just because it's a name that not many people are going to have. But I
Right.
love that idea of going to find out on other platforms that I'm not currently on if that name is available. And I usually, not that I'm a squatter, but when I first started my business with Chic Rebellion and Support is Sexy, it was like, let me just get these names on the key platforms and make sure I have them, even before I really get started with it. But to be able to check multiple platforms, that's very good, Cathy. That's a great tip. Thank you.
Thank you. And I'm glad that even if you haven't done anything with it, that you did reserve it, because people make a living, especially domains, just buying domains and flipping them and holding
Right.
them hostage. And it's just I have a brand that you will hear from in the next year called Resource Rita. And that is my business alter ego. And that's a whole nother time. But I have owned the domain for years, but I just didn't know how to monetize it. But I did not want anybody else to be able to pick that up. So I own that domain.
Smart. Very smart. I'm queen of buying domains too. Like, I have an idea. Let me see if this domain is available. Yep. Gonna hold on to that.
Yes.
And then you
And
create
that's
it.
very smart.
Excellent. I was going to ask you for a last parting piece of advice. Would you say that was it, or do you have anything else you want to share with our listeners?
Just two things. Just, if at all possible, no matter what you do, just try to be consistent in it. I'm guilty of that too, but I'm working on doing it better. Be consistent and be authentic. But you don't have to say be authentic. If that is the true you, people will recognize that, and your brand and your presence will grow.
Excellent. Cathy E.Smith, thank you so much. This has been so fun. I feel like we've talked every day this week, even though it's just been several times because of technology, but you've been such a pro. I really appreciate you.
Oh, I appreciate you, and I appreciate the opportunity.
For sure. Hold on just a second for me.
Oh, okay.
All right. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed that episode. And the challenge for you is to take at least one thing. You can always do more than one thing, but take at least one thing and incorporate that into your business today. Take action today. Also, be sure to go to supportissexypodcast.com to get more information about this episode and to see previous interviews that I've done with other fantastic women entrepreneurs. And while you're there, be sure to go to the free resources button so you can see what kind of resources I'm offering to you guys. Right now, it is a 3-part audio training on how to make brave decisions. The decision to do something is sometimes scarier than even the actual doing. So go to supportissexypodcast.com, go to the top, click free resources, and download that free audio training. All right, so thank you so much again for listening. Until next time, you know what to do. Go out there and create something sexy, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care.